Okay, we are live now with Gauntlet Hangouts. We're playing Dungeon World with Perilous Wilds expansion and as many playbooks as we could get our hands on. I don't think we've got a standard playbook in all four of the players we've got today, so it's kind of fun. Anyway, we are playing the Gaunt Marches. Is this the fourth? Yeah, this is the final session for this kind of series. We'll see if we come to a conclusion or if we just leave them floundering in the swamps. Just a reminder, we have the X card in play if anybody needs to stop play for any reason. We have veils. Let's see. We have veils over torture, so no torture on screen. We don't want to watch sex on screen. And I think we've got a hard line, so we're not even going to talk about it at all, is violence against children. And just kind of be aware that, like, gender roles and any kind of gender insults are not really a thing in the Gaunt Marches. Let's see. Other than that, I think we're just going to hop in. We've got a couple of bookkeeping things to get taken care of. We'll do very brief character introductions after that. I think if anybody is still watching, hopefully they've got an idea of our characters. But let's turn to Yona. She was not with us last session, and so we've got a love letter to do with her, and also she picked up a scroll at the end of the last session she was with us that I wanted to talk about. So Stephen, with that scroll for Yona, what I was thinking of doing is basically giving you, I think it's called like the Brewmaster or the Brew move from the Thief playbook. Okay. But instead of like brewing poisons, it'll be potions.
Okay.
And so then when you want to make a potion that has any given effect, you can look at this scroll. There'll be a recipe on there. We'll talk back and forth about. So it's kind of like a ritual move in a way, but to make a potion. Does that sound cool?
Yeah, sounds cool.
Cool. Let's see. Also, so we were saying that Yona, while everybody else was partying and burning down the tavern, Yona was doing a little bit of partying on her own. Did you say you were also doing a little bit of shopping? Was there shopping you wanted to do?
No, just that she came back to town to spend lavishly, as she often does, and found it all very unsatisfying, and left the party early to go maybe do a little introspection.
Cool. So our love letter is going to be focused on kind of that introspection. What I was thinking might be interesting to get out of that is to get like a new drive for your character.
Okay.
So if it goes well, it'll be a drive that will lead you towards like a positive outcome, like something selfless or kind. But if it's a poor roll, then maybe there will be an element of selfishness or self-destructive in that.
I like it. Yeah, sounds good.
Cool. Go ahead and roll. I think that's just a plus nothing roll for a love letter, unless...
Plus nothing seems appropriate.
Cool.
6.
Okay. So then losing this memory and not getting the fulfillment that you usually get out of lavish spending. And everybody's welcome to brainstorm here with us. What if that gives you the drive to like assert your authority over others to prove your worth or something along those lines?
Yeah, that seems good. I think probably using I think maybe my like my motivation for engaging with magic and apothecary skills was mainly to get financial wealth, financial security. And now that I don't find that as satisfying, I think maybe like being really actually into magic and ritual probably makes a lot of sense, but still, you know, I'm trading one kind of selfish drive for another rather than you know, carnal pleasure. It's more about like arcane power.
Cool. Yeah, yeah, that sounds fun. Go ahead and just write that however you want to for the note. Sorry, I'm just reading a message here from Brian. Is that the move that you're thinking about taking then?
Yeah, we can talk about it when we actually level up. I was looking at.
Cool. Yeah, we'll tackle that when we get there in the fiction. All right. Well, let's do really brief character introductions. If there's any keys or scenes that you're hoping to be able to have, if there's any wishes for the final session, now's the time as well to shout those out. So let's start with Ulf. Ryan, will you give us a little intro there?
Yeah, Ulf is he's a young human itinerant hunter, and the brief version is he is becoming more formidable, but at the same time more reckless. And he has somehow gotten himself and perhaps some other members of his party into a deal with a witch or a hag, and they have not resolved that deal yet. It involves the blood of a unicorn. Key of... I've been doing reckless really well. Awestruck I'd be interested in, and cunning is always something I'm going for. And my alignment might be interesting to try to do too. It's just to defeat an enemy from a distance. But, you know, if it works out, great. If not, then I can definitely continue being reckless.
Cool. Yeah, we'll. I'll especially look for some opportunities to engage things at range. We'll see if we can make that happen. All right, Greg, will you talk to us about Pahan and your wishes?
Pahan is a changeling who rides upon a turtle named Pathax. Pahan is the wise old man class, which is sort of a wizard-esque class, but I've taken the mage's cast a spell move. It's just something that Stephen wasn't here for, so I took the domain of the mask, which is all about trickery and illusions. And yeah, my keys are scrolling. Key of the Mirthful, which we hit last time for the carouse that we did. Key of the Trickster, which is one I still actually haven't hit, which is giving false information, which forces someone to act or convincingly masquerade as someone else. I've done it a little bit with the changing of characters. And then Key of the Cultivator was the new one, which is when I encourage an NPC or an ally to exceed their boundaries. That's one I'm interested in hitting. I think Pahan is sort of taking a turn away from just being out for itself and helping others.
Awesome. All right, let's hear about White Raven.
All right, so White Raven is a human from the far north. Is a kind of raised in a tribe where she learned the ways of being a winter mage, specifically tuned to the wind. Her keys, I think, did pretty spectacularly destroyed a symbol of civilization last session. And then I've also kind of been able to hit the Key of the Weird, which is disturbing or unsettling others. So I think maybe try to, look for opportunities to hit those again, but also look at the Key of the Protector, which is averting an immediate threat to a wild place or successfully convince a group of people to live more harmoniously with the wild.
Cool. Well, yeah, last we saw, you guys kind of ostracized yourself from town, so you might be in the wild for a while. Awesome. Let's have a little introduction from Yona.
Sure. Fiona is a witch, previously primarily motivated by wealth and this kind of Epicurean lifestyle, but given that she lost a memory to a Fae creature, that she's finding that less fulfilling and has decided to kind of immerse herself in knowledge of the arcane. She has a familiar that crawls around on her body, a large black millipede that most people find rightfully unsettling.
Any wishes for the final session?
No, I think I'm pretty open to whatever.
I was going to add a wish. I'm thinking, that's trying to tie in. I mean, we obviously have to deal with the issue with the unicorn blood, but I think Myron will be looking for opportunities to maybe get a little bit more information about the undead threat as well. Maybe something about who this master is.
Cool.
I'll add a wish that I'm definitely interested in exploring Pahan's relationship to that Fae court where the unicorn is there. I think that's something Pahan has definitely tangled with before. That'll be interesting.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, those there's kind of pull in different directions, but there may be ways. We'll see how it all plays out. Okay, so last thing we saw, you all had made camp an hour or two out of town. You ended up, when you left, you just fled quickest way you could out. You ended up a little ways east of town. And in the third or the final watch of the day, Ulf woke up to some chittering, and his new rat tail whip was kind of like twitching or writhing, not like in a menacing way, but just kind of indicating like there are rats coming with this noise. So let's open with Ulf. Everybody else is asleep at this moment. Ulf, I think you have enough time to do something, but you can hear that noise. What are you doing?
I don't know. Just put all my senses on high alert. Try to look and listen and sense what I'm facing, what direction it's coming from, how the chittering might indicate how many and how large beasts we are dealing with.
Okay. I think that triggers a discern realities. Go ahead and roll that.
2d6 plus 1 because I am confused. Comes out to a 7. 6 plus 1, 7.
Nice. All right, so you get one of the questions from the list.
What is about to happen?
Okay. So you heard the chittering from behind you, so kind of back towards town. It sounds like a large group of rats, and for whatever reason, they seem to be attracted to you all because you hear the sound continuing to move towards the camp.
Rats. All right. I want to wake the party, and I'll do it by cracking my whip overhead.
Nice, yeah. I'm sure that would wake everybody up. A couple snaps with the whip. With the whip snap, you hear the chittering kind of quiet down. You maybe can see a little ways off, maybe 20 paces away, some movement in bushes or even like ripples on the water. And then one little rat kind of pokes out pretty close to camp, sniffs around, and runs back into the bushes. So as you guys are all coming to, what do you want to do?
What's sorry, what's going on?
No, you're fine. You're fine. So you guys had all made camp. We're just.
Oh no,
saying,
sorry, that was in character. I was just roused from my slumber by someone cracking a whip near my face, and I'm already in a very bad mood.
Yeah,
let's over there. There's a horde of rats. They seem to be, if I'm not mistaken, they seem to be attracted to the whip that I've crafted. And when I snapped over my head, they reacted.
Did you need to snap it quite so near me?
Yes, I need you guys to wake up. Last time you weren't making decisions for the party, we burned down the inn.
I mean, I don't know. Their wine wasn't that good, so it's probably for the best.
What's this I hear about rats?
Do you guys know anything about hordes of rats that come for you out of vengeance because you burned their home down?
Is it possible that these are just rats fleeing the burning inn? They've been displaced from their home, and we're just in their path of their exodus?
I don't know. They seem to have stopped. They're not charging. Can we talk to them?
at about that moment, one rat gets kind of brave. He runs out of a bush and starts climbing into the nearest pack that you guys have. Kind of scurrying around, looking maybe for food.
Whose pack?
Let's have a die fate on that. Give me a second. Worst. That would be your pack.
Pounded rats. And Pahan just starts wailing on the pack, trying to drive the rat out. What did you do, Ulf? What have you done?
I kept my watch and sounded the alarm. What I was supposed to do.
You used your rat tail whip, and now the rats are here?
Yeah, about that. And he cracks it over his head again and shouts out into the night. Who are you and why have you come?
More scurrying. This time it's not just like to the one side. It seems to be all around you. And another couple rats. So the one that you were smacking at with your cane, or staff rather, ran away. But another few rats start coming into the firelight and trying to get into packs as well.
I picks up her pack, puts it on, and kind of puts her back to the fire with her axe out.
I want to see if I can use divination to figure out what's going on. If these are actually rats, if they're actually here for us. So yeah, I think I'll just sit straight down where I'm at and commune with my Fae friend and see if I can glean any information about what exactly is going on here.
Go ahead and do the roll, but it's going to take a few minutes to take effect.
Sure.
Great. Yona's talking to the millipede. Does anyone have any rations we can spread out? Maybe they're just looking for food.
Sure, I think I have some lizard man food. It's probably well past its prime right now. So let's toss that at them and see what they think.
Cool. So you're just tossing that like into one of the bushes nearby, or just are you keeping it where?
Yeah, maybe in generally my field of view.
Okay. How many rations are you going to be using?
Actually, out of those, I'll just crumple one ration up and toss it in kind of a fan in front of me.
Cool. Why don't you roll plus rations used? Let's see how this works.
D6 plus 1. A 10.
Nice. Yeah, so you throw these crumbles out and a bunch of rats just like pile on it, eat, and then scurry back into the bushes. I think you guys have figured out like they're here for food. They don't really seem to have much more malintent that you can sense. They seem to be mundane, regular rats. Not that that's a good thing, but.
Anybody have any use for rats? They seem to be the regular kind.
I don't think their tails are long enough to be whips. And I think Pahan starts poking Roru, the bard. Wake up! Wake up! You're missing all the action. Rats in the swamp. You're gonna have to write a song about this one.
You said I could have a full night's rest. What's the problem?
Check your pack. The rats might be taking your rations.
No. Yeah. He grabs his little bag and like hugs it tight. Let's have that roll from Yona come up through here.
4.
Ooh, yikes. Okay. You have, Yona, a foreboding feeling. Why don't you describe for us what it feels like when the master, this necromancer of the swamp, peers in at you guys in this situation? What does it feel like? How do you know?
It feels like something has been taken away from me. Like someone has pulled pulled my clothes off, or pulled my blanket off in the night. I feel exposed and kind of naked in a way, not physically but sort of emotionally. I don't like it.
Cool. So just to kind of get to the point here, so these rats, they're not planning on attacking you, but unless you guys are willing or able to do something about them and their presence, they're going to just keep on following you. I mean, you've already fed them. They know you're a source of food. Whenever you're not looking, they may be there to munch on some.
So how many are there?
The pack that you guys saw jump out at that ration, there was probably like 15 or 20 of them, but that was like right in front of you, and you've heard movement all around now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not really keen on these rats. I think what I would like to do is brew a potion of rat poison. I want to lace one of our rations with this and just try to kill as many as I can. I have no reservations about killing as many of these things as quickly as possible.
So that'll be another move that'll take some time. If you guys spend the morning kind of watching your packs closely while Yona brews, then we can make that happen. What do you guys think?
Yeah, maybe White Raven. Maybe it's an assist role. I'm just thinking, having spent a lot of time outdoors, might know something about dealing with rats or killing rats. So maybe knows an effective way to either administer the poison or something that would make a good poison.
If we have some time, I think Ulf would be dancing around, practicing with his whip, and noting any reaction that the rats might have to different things he might do.
Okay. So let's tackle Yona's alchemy first, and it sounds like White Raven was going to be assisting with the brewing. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So, sorry, mechanically, is there a role for that, or is it just the brewer move, and instead of poison, it's potion? I guess.
So, yeah, I put it
say
at the bottom, alchemist. So basically, you're describing the effect of the poison you want to create, or the potion, which is an anti-rat poison or something. And I'll give you the conditions. I think the only condition that I think is interesting there right now is it'll take a while to take effect. So even after it, they won't die like right away. They'll probably still follow you guys for a little while before they start dying off.
Cool.
So maybe instead of an assist roll, it's more like a spout lore. See if I know anything about these rats from my time spent in the wild.
Sure.
Ten.
Awesome. One more thing real quick, Yona. Why don't you use one of your adventuring gear just for some of the ingredients? You can find a lot of the stuff just like herbs and plants nearby, but maybe something else you needed in there.
Okay.
So spout lore about the rats. So the rats in. I'm trying to think of something. You know what, Brian? Yeah, why don't you just tell me what would White Raven know about roving packs of mundane rats?
Well, are these completely mundane, or were you implying that these are somehow?
No. Yeah, these are genuinely regular rats.
Okay. Maybe she just knows how to make a really mean rat stew, and we're gonna have some rations later after we kill these things. I don't know. And knows maybe some effective. I mean, there's no mechanical benefit, I guess, but just fictionally, maybe knows some good ways to set up some bait and trap kind of stuff with the poison, so that we can effectively poison these things.
Okay, so let's. How about this? So for the interesting thing is that these the rats in the marches and especially in the swamp are commonly found in large packs like this. They don't nest down anywhere. They wander, right? And the immediately useful thing would be that you'd be able to bait them in as long as you guys aren't standing over the food. This trap will work just fine. Let's have Ulf. Why don't you roll your wisdom again, unless you think it's something else that you're doing as you observe the rats.
It'd probably be wisdom or intelligence. I don't know. I think the modifier's about the same.
Yeah, because you're confused, it'll be the same.
Yeah, so 2d6 plus 1.
Okay.
A 10.
Oh, goodness. Let's say this. Why don't you tell me what the motion is that you do that they most react to, and I'll tell you what they do to react to it. What is it that you do with the whip that they pay most attention to?
If I just kind of wiggle it out in front and put like a standing wave into it, perhaps they kind of sit up on their haunches and stand at attention.
Yeah, I think if you wiggle it and you kind of like move it this way or that way, like a crowd kind of gathers and they like will follow it back and forth like prairie dogs, sitting up at attention like prairie dogs. So that could be potentially useful.
That's a nice trick. Shame we're gonna kill them all. I think Pahan is spending this morning trying to keep Pithax from going after the rats, and gently prodding Roru about how afraid he is of the rats, and maybe tricking him into situations where the rats might appear behind a tent or something and laughing at him. Generally not helping anyone.
Lovely. Yeah, I think Roru may think twice before he takes orders from you here on out. Well, we'll see. Cool. So the morning passes. The brew is finished. You guys are able to poison them. Unless you guys want to wait it out through the afternoon and start like mid-afternoon, they're not going to die until about mid-afternoon. If you want to set out now, though, they may still follow you.
I'm knowing that they're going to die is enough for me. I'm content with leaving sooner than later.
Cool. And you guys said you were baiting him in with some rations. Who's going to spend? Let's just call it 2 rations to feed them all enough poison.
I can use one of mine as well. It's fine.
I think Pahan can sacrifice 1, but it's going to get awfully close for Pahan to running out of rations.
Oh, yeah, I'm down to 1.
Yeah, so
I've got 3, so let me give 1 more.
Okay.
Okay.
I'll do 2
Okay.
then.
So anybody who was going to level up, that level up can happen during this downtime as well. White Raven, I just skimmed that move, but it looks good because you've got the wind and the ice. I think that follows kind of the direction your character is going. So go ahead and add that one.
How about what do you want to do for any hit points recovered?
Oh, yeah. So it'll be like a normal camp. The camp's over, so up to half of your hit points can recover. Cool. So we said we've poisoned the rats and we're headed somewhere. Where are you guys planning on going?
I believe the plan was, and correct me if I'm mistaken, I thought the plan was to go to the undead market and try and buy some unicorn blood. I believe that was the plan.
Okay. Thumbs up if that's what we're still going for. So Yona has been there before. I think it's about 3 days out of town, if I remember right. So let's do one day where you guys have to roll for getting to the trail that Yona knows, but the next 2 days you guys won't have to scout out, or you won't have to chart a course. You only have to scout ahead. So who's going to be scouting ahead to dangers, and who's going to be charting the course? Probably Yona should chart the course.
Sure. That's fine.
Cool. So you'll roll your intelligence.
What about the debility I've been carrying?
So the debility sticks around until you've had some time to rest, or I think a healing potion would take it away instantaneously. But I think it takes like 3 days of rest in a town, or some other kind of. If you find a role-playing way that you can engage with that, we can probably clear it as well.
Gotcha.
Ulf, are you scouting ahead, or is somebody else going to scout ahead this time?
I'm fine to do it. My advantage as a scout is slightly less so than it was before, but still +1.
Cool. Let's get those rolls on the table then. Yona, did you roll your chart course?
Yeah, 7.
Roll a 4.
A 4 for scouting?
4 for scouting.
Okay. All right. So let's just take a look at this charting move real quick, and then we'll deal with the failed roll for the scout. So on a 7, you choose one of these 3 things. You happen upon a discovery missed by the scout, going slow, or you wander off course. And no, let's not engage with that because we're just finding our way back to the trail. Or you encounter a danger. Whether or not you're surprised depends on whether or not the scout has a drop on it. So what do you want to do? A discovery or a danger?
Yona would want to do a discovery.
Okay. Will somebody roll me a d12 while I pull up the correct chart?
That's a 10.
Cool. All right, so you guys are hiking on into the afternoon. Yona, you've got a pretty good sense of the trail that you've taken. Market. Figure by the, starting tomorrow morning, it'll be 2 more days travel. You're fairly confident in that. And let's say it's just before dusk, and you see on the horizon a lone tree. It's gnarled, and the reason it stands out to you guys is because most of the trees here in the swamp are black, covered in moss, kind of gross, dead-looking trees. This one has white bark, like brilliantly white bark, not shining or glowing or anything. And it's also like, you know what? I didn't describe the swamp very well to start with. I'm sorry, guys. So there's these dunes of sand that kind of shift and move. Most of it is like watery, but it's not like the knee-high sea that you guys were in before. It's just like kind of, a couple inches of muck. But these dunes come up, and there's trees that, like pine trees and stuff, that grow on them. This white tree is on one such dune that is a perfect circle around, and it's not so much raised as it is just a few feet above the muck and the mire. What do you guys do as you see this tree off in the distance?
I think this is something possibly Pahan has seen before, so I'm angling towards those who study history. Probably been here a long time. So I think Pahan is sort of, telling the companions to stay back and approaching the tree cautiously, sort of feeling the wood and seeing what's going on. So, oop, hold on. I have to actually click the reroll button. There we go. Oh, that didn't go well. Yep, that's a 5.
Okay. Why don't you go ahead and ask me a question from the list anyway?
You're muted.
I remember something potentially useful or rewarding.
Cool. Okay, so you're next to this beautiful tree. You're running your hand up and down it, and you're remembering that this used to be a sacred place to the people of the Everslow, specifically the snake people who live here. It was a time before they were corrupted and turned to darker, more fiendish kind of activities. The rest of you, are you all joining him near that tree, or did you let him go off on his own?
No, I definitely went to go check it out.
Cool.
I'll check it out as well.
Men used to worship here. This is a sacred place to them.
I would like to see if I get any sense of magic energy from it using divination. So I think like kind of walking around it, just kind of with my hand out, feeling to see if there's anything magical about this place.
Yeah, go ahead and do discern realities.
Oops, I didn't actually roll. 13.
Cool. So yeah, ask me three of the questions from the list, and I'll kind of gear them all towards the magic that's present.
Let's go for what here is not what it appears to be.
This is it's more than just a tree. It's another fan home that you found.
What should I be on the lookout for?
You, as is usual for the Fae, you should be watching out for some tricks and be very careful the words you speak while you're near the tree.
What is useful or valuable?
You see a few carvings, or not carvings, rather. You see the bark shaped on the tree in a peculiar way that you recognize, probably because of your relationship to the millipede, as like a symbol for a storyteller or a bard, or somebody who tells and knows stories.
I'll look at Roru, and I'm like, surely you've heard sung about Fae houses. Do you know any?
No, I don't really deal with Fae. I've talked to people who've seen Fae, or they claim they do. I think they're just eating the mushrooms for the forest. But, I mean, if you want me to sing, and as he starts droning on and making excuses, you guys hear around you a scream, a shriek. You could call it a battle cry. and about a 3-foot creature bearing a sickle sprints out of the shrubbery nearby and takes a swing at White Raven. White Raven, you've got a moment to react. What do you do?
Is this some kind of, is it like running on 2 legs, or is it snake-like, or?
Yeah, it's like gnome, if you have to describe it as anything.
I think her immediate reaction is to just try to hit it with a gust of blizzardy wind and knock it back. So it'd be the Diamond Blizzard.
Cool. Yeah, go ahead and read that for us.
Boxers. Okay.
So that just means
That's a 15. So that on a 7+, deal your damage with the tags Forceful and Piercing 2.
How about that damage?
It is a 2.
A 2 damage?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, so he's knocked back to where he started. He's got some icicles that are slowly melting, like stuck into him. He's not dead, but he's worse for wear. And you realize now that this was just the first of many, and they're all around this island, popping out of bushes. On quick count, maybe there's 10 of them. They're really kind of gaunt, bare bones, drooping skin. They all have these red hats on that seem to be wet and dripping. And they all begin to charge. How are you all defending yourselves?
I think Pahan is going to transform into whatever shape or actually cast a spell to perform the illusion of transforming into the hag that we met at the house, to sort of dupe them into some sort of trick them and tell them that this is not the party to tangle with.
Cool. Go ahead and roll a cast a spell there.
Yeah, that's a 5.
Oh, you're kidding, right?
No. Good idea, just not a good execution.
Yeah, your failed roll is why I decided to send these guys at you. All right, cool. So you start weaving your magics. You underestimated. That's the language I'm speaking to. You underestimated how close one of these was to you, and he gets a sickle right in your leg. You're going to be hobbled. Let's see, what ability would that probably fit under? Probably your dexterity. So go ahead and mark shaky, and you'll be able to remove that once you've dealt with this gash he's got in your thigh. Ulf, what are you doing as you see a few of these guys start rushing out?
I've got the whip going, and I'm lashing forward and back. You know, it's not too much to think that I could attack 2 or 3 targets, just wind up, and, you know, the wind up might be a whip crack over my left shoulder and right shoulder, and then whip crack forward in front of me. So if there are 2 or 3 in range, I'm going to try to, you know, whip at all 3 or 2, however many I think I can get to.
Yeah, so go ahead and give me the roll, and then I'll do a roll to see. You're going to be able to at least attack 2. Let's see if you've got time for a third. Yeah, you'll be able to strike at 3.
That's a 6. Anybody help me with that?
Yeah, I can. My plan was to use my weather work spell to kind of start generating a like a wall of wind to more try to keep them at bay than actually attack them. So yeah, if I can use that as if I can use the beginnings of my spell as aid, then we can do it that way.
Yeah, because it was arbitrary that I picked him instead of you first. So go ahead and roll, and if it works, then you'll be able to use that aid.
Okay. So I just forgot what I have to roll with. Okay. That what is that? I can't see that. That is a 7.
Cool. So on a 7 and 9, you hold 2 storm, and you want to use one of these immediately to help Ulf out.
Yep.
Cool. So Ulf, roll your damage.
A 7.
Awesome. So yeah, you whip crack and you finish off one. You finish off a second. The third one gets past you and kind of takes a swipe at your legs as well. Just roll a d6 plus 1.
A 3.
Cool. So that's how much damage you're going to take. All right. So Pahan's got a sickle stuck in his leg and a few more running towards him. White Raven's got one laying down in the brush ahead of him, and 2 more running. Or sorry, her 2 more running at her, and altogether, let's see, probably 7 more that we haven't like directly engaged with that are starting to run out of the bushes. So
This is probably a terrible idea, but Pahan is going to take out that necromancer blade that White Raven gave him and just stab the these are red caps that have attacked, and I'm just gonna go see what happens.
cool. Yeah, go ahead and take a swipe at the red cap.
By the way, Yona hasn't seen this, and she sees you pull out what is obviously some horrific-looking dagger and make towards stabbing a gnome, and is fully on board with this decision.
So that's a hack and slash.
Oh yeah, it's a terrible hack and slash. That's a 3.
Oh no! All right. You get it into the one. He's like reveling in the blood. Maybe he even took a moment to like lick off his blade. You get it into right here, right in the soft spot behind the collarbone, and he falls to the ground. The knife like kind of slips out of your hand with it. 2 more of his friends tackle you to the ground, and one of them does. You know what? They deal D6 plus 2 damage to you as they tackle you.
Okay, that's 5.
Okay. All right. Let's take a look at White Raven. So you've got a couple running towards you and the one in the bush that you just knocked down.
Yeah. I think I want to try to blow them off the hunt. I'm kind of worried about it's actually yeah, okay. There's a chance for collateral damage. Okay, well, I'm gonna kind of try to pull the wind around me and concentrate it and do like a sudden icy blast straight at the 2 that are on top of Bahan, trying to knock them off but not hit him. is the goal, and she says, "Allow me to break the ice," and then she throws this wall of ice at them. So I will roll for the move first. Okay, I think it's still good. Yeah, so that's an 8. So
That means
I think it affects. Yeah, no.
it affects more than normal or north you wanted.
Let's see. It yeah. So it affects more than you wanted to. Either someone else is hit or you blow away something you didn't mean to. GM will tell you what happens.
You're gonna hit Pahan as well. Why don't you roll your damage?
All right. I'm gonna do D6 first. Okay, D4. So it's total of 5. Piercing 2.
Cool. So that'll be enough to kill one of the two, and then the other one's going to be knocked far off of him. Pahan's going to go flying and take the same amount of damage. Why don't you give us a description of like kind of how all that shakes down from your point of view?
Me or Pahan? The description for me. Okay. So yeah, I think they're just like holding on to him like really tightly and close, and I try to aim the wind so it's just grazing them, but in the struggle and in my just trying to summon as much power as I can, I end up just with this huge blast of ice and wind that like just hits Pahan and them, and like throws up a big like splash of sand and wind, and he's sent flying backwards at the same time they are. I'm probably like a bit horrified, hoping I didn't just kill him.
Cool. We're going to take a second and look at Roru. He's freaking out. He did not realize that this meant that he was going to be in active combat. And he's like screaming. He's like, "What do I do? What do I do? What if they stab me like they got him?" Pointing at Pahan. Now, Greg, what is Pathax up to right now? What does he do in the middle of combat?
Pathax is probably sort of barreling about and trying to, sort of knock them off of their footing. Maybe circling around behind them and trying to hit them from behind. Okay,
cool. So for now, let's just have that be a fictional positioning thing if anybody wants to take advantage of that. Ulf, you killed 2 of them, if I remember right, and one of them got close enough to hurt you. You're pretty close to Yona as well. What are you doing with this one right in front of you?
Got all my weapons have range and reach. You said it's 3 feet tall?
Yeah.
Can I just place kick it like a football, like I'm kicking a field goal?
That sounds like hack and slash to me.
Is that strength or dex?
That's strength.
Okay, so no modifier. That's a 6.
All right.
Did we have a Pathax aid?
I don't think so, because he's like right, he already stabbed him once. He's like right there.
I can spend my last storm to make that a 7.
Cool.
I'll send a gust of wind at it as you kick it, and it just goes flying like you literally punted it.
Awesome. We'll just call that one dead. Hurtling 50 feet through the air, it's dead. It does get one little scratch off on you as you kick it, probably on your leg, maybe right above your boot. Go ahead and take another d6 plus 1. All right. So, White Raven, you turned around to help your friend. You kind of ignored the ones that were behind you. You feel a sharp pain right in the middle of your back, and a cackle, and one of them in broken common says, "Blood, blood, blood." Go ahead and take a d6 plus 2 as these two strike you from behind. How much you take?
Rolled a 5, so 7 total.
Oof. Okay. What's everybody looking like? Health. Never mind. I have a sheet. My big boy.
Not good.
I'm hungover, but I feel fantastic.
And you are down there, huh? Okay.
Yeah, Pahan's thinking about doing the
So-
secret paths and ways here pretty soon.
We're
Yeah.
real quick before you go, White Raven. So this one that was killed by Pithax stands up like unholily. You know, it doesn't even look like it lifts itself, like another force is lifting it, and it gets onto its feet, and and it says, "Witch, I've been watching you. I think you already know." Its eyes are glowing green, and it still has this blade sticking out of it, out of its neck. All right, White Raven, you wanted to do something? Go ahead.
Yeah, I think White Raven, concerned about Pahan, is going to try to encase him in some ice armor to protect him.
Cool. And that's a roll even on an ally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I read your move. I know what's up.
All right, should I roll it?
Yep.
Sweet. That's a 13. So I'm going with their body is coated in ice. They gain 3 armor, but their movement is slowed. They cannot run, cannot jump, and their movement is very slow and stiff.
Cool. And Pahan, I remember right, you were just kind of thrown through the air. I was imagining you prone on the ground. Does that sound fair?
Yeah, that sounds fair.
Okay. But you are now armored. That's cool. By my count, there are 6 more of these red caps, and then the undead red cap still around you guys. They've fanned out. 2 of them are right next to White Raven, but the rest of them are a little bit distant from each of you. Yona, do you have any response for this this vessel? Oh, you're muted.
There we go. Yeah, I'm quite taken aback by this. Do I recognize the voice?
It speaks in the voice of the gnome, so you wouldn't recognize it that way. You did have a vision this morning of something watching over you, though.
Right.
Rather.
Who are you?
I am the master. What are you coming to me for? Why do you see me?
Is this your home?
I reside in the hole of the swamp. This is the second time I've sensed you coming my way, though. Surely a freak.
Why don't you maybe ask the rest of these gnomes to stand down, and we can have a conversation.
I'd rather have more bodies to play with.
Did you see the one that my friend just literally punted over that tree?
Yeah. I think at that point he pulls the dagger out of his neck and he starts running towards you. Now I'm imagining the tree is still between you and him, and he's also it's going to take a few seconds.
Sure, he's slightly adorable when he's when this corpse is threatening me. It's also a little bit cute. How close is Roru to me?
I was imagining Roru kind of in the middle of all of y'all, right next to the tree. So
yeah, I'd grab Roru and push him until he's touching the tree.
Okay. Yeah, you can do that. You've got plenty of time for that. Is there a plan with this?
Yes. Given that there were like runes or whatever on the tree for Bard, I wondered if someone of bardic background might be the key to open the doorway to this Fae realm.
Oh, I see.
I wanted him to sing earlier, but he ended up just yammering on like a twat.
Let's have you. This kind of sounds like you're investigating the magic of the tree. Let's have you roll a discern realities.
Okay. Crap! I keep hitting the wrong button. Oh, there we go. That is a 5.
Okay. Yeah, you get what you were hoping for. A little door opens above Roru's head, and a glowing, like pixies, kind of like Tinkerbell-sized person, your head out, throws some sparkles onto Roru. He falls asleep and on the ground, and this creature just yells, "Go away!" at all of you all. Let's go back over to Wolf. It's been a minute since we saw what he was up to. You punted one of them, and then what are you doing next?
I think it's back to the whip for me. There's a couple next to a white raven. Is that right?
Yep.
I can't take both those on at the same time. See if I can get her clear.
Cool. So you're gonna attack one of them. Is that what I'm hearing?
No, same as before. Do some fancy rope work and see if I can't whip slash both of them.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. I don't think that's really a hack and slash. It is a defy danger though, because he's right or she's right there next to him. So go ahead and roll with your dexterity.
A 7.
Cool. Roll for your damage.
That's an 8.
Awesome. Yeah. Tell us how you kill both of these with your rat whip.
So are they flanking her? Is that what's going on?
I think they just attacked her back, is all. Because White Raven has been spending a lot of focus helping Pahan.
So I think I just with the full force, full windup of these two gnomes whose attention is turned elsewhere, I can just lash out one and the other, and maybe I hit him right at the like between the second and third vertebrae, right under their skull, and just break both their necks with the force of this whip crack.
Awesome. I love it. So we still have like 4 more of these gnomes, various places. None of them are really charging at the moment. I think they're debating whether they want to continue pursuing this. The most imminent danger, though, we've got is the undead one running at Yona. Now, after you did your little shoving thing with our remarkable bard, this thing is getting real close to you. What are you doing about it?
Whoops. I'll just try to hit it with my my cane. So just have a whack at it, I think was the last resort. Which doesn't usually go well for me. Let's see. Ooh, that is a 9.
Hey, there you go. Go ahead and roll your damage.
1.
Whew. Okay. You get a good crack in on the side of its head. It's still coming at you, though, and it sinks the knife into your belly. You're going to take D12 damage.
Yikes. D12, you say?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's a 9. Technically an 8 because I have some armor, so we'll go for
Now,
8.
Have you ever touched or fiddled with necrotic things before? Things that reside between life and death?
Yeah, I think I would have. I'm pretty well versed in all things arcane, especially those that people consider to be dark, untoward, dubious, unclean.
So what's like the necromancy 101? These are the things to watch out for when you've been attacked by a necromantic weapon.
Yeah, the wound just festers. It won't heal properly. It won't close.
Cool. So that's exactly what's going on with this blade then. Now, with the 4 that are kind of standing off in the distance, maybe I think one would approach Pahan laying there on the ground. Now, Pahan, it's hard for you to move much, but what are you doing is it slowly moves towards you with its sickle in hand.
I think Pahan wants to call Pithax over to sort of strike the red cap and then possibly get on Pithax's back and try and fix the mess that they created with the undead red cap.
Cool. Let's have you command Pithax to do that. So that'll be a +2 because he's got loyalty 2.
My first success of the night. 5, 6, 7. 7, just barely, but 7.
Cool. And roll a d6 damage for Pithax.
That's a 3.
Cool. So it gets knocked and tumbles a little bit and then runs away. The final 3 that are there, they call out. They say, "You with the whip! Will you let us recover our friends?"
Sure. Come get them.
They will kind of sheathe or, tie up their weapons on their backs, and they're starting to drag away the bodies. And if you guys will allow this to happen and not stop them, they'll take all the bodies of the gnomes, and you might even see them like just outside of the island, cutting their bodies open, dipping their hats in the in the guts of their friends, putting it back on. Threat resolved.
Is the undead gnome still around?
Oh, I forgot about him. I'm sorry. Yeah, he's still rearing and in the fight.
My idea was to throw the boomerang and go for a volley, even though I have a disadvantage, to try and knock out the gnome a little bit.
Okay. Sure. Let's go for that.
That's a 4. I'm gonna stop doing things now.
Okay. The boomerang goes hurtling towards this creature. As the creature withdraws the knife from Yon, it turns around and catches and breaks your boomerang in half, and then knife raised starts running at you. I think you all can subdue it without any more rolls. Between the 4 of you, I think you can get that thing pinned down. I mean, it's 3 feet tall and whatnot.
It is a zombie gnome, though.
If you want to, yeah, we can keep on.
I'm fine with I'm fine with subduing it into fiction without having to roll dice, because
I think maybe Wolf would try to wrap its whip like a prehensile tail around it. It's small enough I should be able to get a couple of loops around it and completely immobilize it.
Cool. Now, are you guys going to kill it again, or what are you doing?
How about unless you guys have any ideas of what to do with an undead gnome, how about I use the whip to fling it towards the pack of the others and say, "Hey, you forgot this one."
I would like to use it to perform a divination ritual to get some more information about this necromancer that controls it. And it'll be easier for me if it's still within our presence.
Han would like the knife back.
I think White Raven's a bit disappointed with the caretaking of the knife. Kind of like, but perhaps we should just destroy this knife instead of carrying it with us. Is that something that can be done?
Wait, sorry, say again.
Just suggesting that perhaps we should destroy this necromantic knife rather than carry it with us, unless you think it can be useful in bringing it to the master. But I worry that such a dark tool should not be left to remain in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I could potentially, I think either myself or Pahan could potentially use magic to destroy it. And actually, yeah, I guess with the knife, I don't need the body of the gnome to perform my divination ritual. So if we want to keep the knife for now and dispense with the gnome, that's fine.
Wolf, do you still want to kind of toss it over to the rest of the gnomes?
No, I think maybe I was indicating with my body language what I was about to do, and then Pahon stops me and tells me not to be an idiot and that this is a better plan, rather than tossing a zombie gnome into a pack of other gnomes that are almost basically zombies while they're alive, and perhaps making it all worse, that we should do something intelligent with the creature instead.
Yeah, Pahan's just sort of banging on the zombie's hand with his walking staff, trying to dislodge the blade and saying, "No, we shouldn't We shouldn't disenchant this. This is valuable as it is. Who knows what price this might fetch? This might be what it takes to get the unicorn blood. Get us all out of this whole thing that Ulf got us into.
Ulf says, hey, you remember that time when we went to the Fae house and soaked in the whirlpool?
I do. That was nice. I wanted to stay, and you made me leave.
No, I was hoping you wouldn't answer. I was going to say, exactly. That was my doing. You have that memory because of me.
To be fair, we didn't get trapped in a time vacuum because of him. So
I think as people are discussing this, White Raven, unless someone stops her, is just going to try to behead this thing with her axe, the gnome.
Yeah, that'll do the trick. Yeah, once it's headless. I think it's got one or two last words. Something along the lines of, the icy one again. And then it gurgles out, and the body stops moving in the tail.
A friend of yours?
I seek its master and hope to finally rid this world of such dark magic. I think we should destroy the blade unless it's going to... You can promise me that it will bring us to the master, but I will not have it sold to some person that may be able to use it for dark purposes.
Well, remember when we were at the inn? Before we burned it, and the trial, and the botched illusions, and the... Remember when I gave you a little hair of the dog? This might be the very key to killing this master you speak of. Or it's a knife that brings back red caps from the dead, and that's bad.
I fear the magic of this blade. There's not many fates worse than rising like the dead. And if this blade was turned on us, we may find ourselves servants to this dark necromancer.
Ryan, do you want to talk about that kind of above table for a second and pitch an idea?
Yeah, I just saw Pahan and White Raven going back and forth about this blade, and Pahan might have the capability of making it look as if he destroyed the blade and not actually destroy it. I think that might fall into the key of the trickster realm.
That would be interesting, to try and trick the master into believing that the blade has been destroyed.
Or just trick White Raven.
Or just trick White Raven so that you can keep it.
Ah.
I think that sounds like a fun scene.
Okay. I'm into that. Okay. So Pahan sort of grabs it from the beheaded gnome and goes, fine, fine, and sort of waves the arms and maybe even pulls Pithax closer and rubs the turtle shell and rubs the knife a little bit. And do you want to roll on this, or do you want me just to sort of I just sort of make the black parts appear a little bit more alabaster and sort of make it appear that it has been disenchanted?
I'm fine with no roll. I think
Okay.
I do want to ask Yona, are you watching this? Because you would probably realize that he's just BSing it, right?
Oh yeah, I'm watching this very intently to see how this is going to play out. I think I suspect early on that Pahan's intentions are dubious, or at least, yeah, I have a suspicion. So I'm not saying anything, but watching very closely everything that transpires to see if I get any idea that things are not what they appear to be.
Yeah, I think Pahan and Yona just make eye contact while Pahan is performing the the faux ritual.
Yeah.
I think Golf is totally taken in. Like he's watching this happen. It's like a kind of a low magic world, and he sees magic happen in front of him, and he's just kind of like drooling and just mesmerized as turtle grease and elbow grease come together to remove a necromantic curse on a blade. He's just dumbfounded by it. Totally sucked.
What does White Raven face look like?
I think White Raven is got a kind of a look of relief and like, thank you for you made the right choice. Only dark things would have come of that blade.
But it still cuts cabbage, so I'll keep it.
Cool. Yona, you wanted to divine. What was it?
Use this possessed whatever gnome to glean some more information about this necromancer using my divination spell.
And I also have some scrolls I recovered from that room, if y'all remember. Might be a good time to take a look at those. They were in that realm as well.
Yeah, let's tackle the scrolls after the divination roll. But yes, this would be a good time to do that. So, all right. Ask the question. If you only want a yes or no, you get +1. If you have something that belonged to the person, +1. So it looks like.
Are we counting the gnome as something that belonged to the, or I guess the knife?
Yeah. So you're definitely good to get the +1 there.
Okay, so then that's a 10.
Okay. And what is the question you want answered?
So when I was first traveling to the market, my party, this was before I met the rest of them, my party was attacked by this sort of chimera, this creature that was sort of part alligator, part fish, and I'm wondering if it's the same sorcerer that created that creature.
Yeah, that chimeric creature was created by a different wizard.
Interesting. So on a 10+, I get a follow-up question. Is the creature that created, are those two sorcerers, I'll just say, are they like allied with each other, or are they part of the same? Sure, are they allies with one another? Are they part of the same faction?
I'll give you, yeah. So the necromancer and this other wizard certainly know of one another. And if there's any reason they're not allied, it's because the necromancer believes that he is like a head and shoulders above this other wizard.
Sure. So yeah, I'll just relate this to the party that I've encountered, the machinations of some other foul sorcerer in the swamp. I thought that it was potentially the same, but it is not, which the fact that there are two of these sorcerers, to me, means there are probably more than two of these sorcerers. But that's the best information I can give about the necromancer.
All right. Did you guys want to take a look at those scrolls right now?
Only if it makes sense fictionally. I mean, if we're talking about the necromancer and we're doing divination rituals and we're talking about things that were in his possession, I think Ulf would have said, hey, these might also fall in that category. But I have no business looking at them.
Can I read them?
You can identify immediately that they are spells recorded to be read, and then the paper would, burn up, and the spell would be cast. You could roll and see if you're capable of reading them.
Yeah, I'd love to figure out if I can read them. What kind of roll is that?
I think that is a spout lore.
Okay. 10.
Awesome. So there are 3 scrolls, 2 scrolls of raise dead, and 1 scroll of speak to the dead. And just mechanically, anybody can use those. You simply use your wisdom to look at the page, because it's not so much when you cast it, it's not so much that you're reading it, but you're just the powers, the words come out of your mouth, and those effects happen.
Yeah, so I would also share that information. Just say like what the spells are, and like one of them is speak to the dead. So if you're interested in finding out the whereabouts of this necromancer, this gnome that he was using to speak, we could potentially get some information from them using this spell.
What do you guys want to do about Roru? He's been magically put to sleep.
I mean, I'd be happy to just leave him there. I know nothing about this interloper, so I've already forgotten about it.
I'll nudge him with my boot and say, "Wake up! You missed an epic battle. How are you going to sing songs about us if you sleep through the good parts?"
Drools and snoring.
I'll slap him hard enough to do some damage to him.
Continue drools and snoring.
Oh, well, I feel better.
You know what?
And,
I think this is going to be a not Spout Lord, the other one. Discern Reality.
Discern Realities.
Why don't Ulf or Yon, you can roll it. You guys are kind of working together on this, so somebody can aid and somebody can roll.
I got a +1 whiz. What do you got?
Same.
I guess I'll roll and you can aid if need be.
Sounds good.
Yeah, aid with your wisdom as well.
I got a 10.
Sweet. I just want to mark this moment in history when slapping a sleeping man caused a Discern Realities roll. Go ahead and ask 3 questions about it.
What happened here recently?
The Faerie cast a spell of eternal sleep on him about 5 minutes ago.
What should I be on the lookout for?
There. You know what? What you need to be on the lookout for is the reappearance of this fairy, because she seemed pretty grumpy that you had brought redcaps to her island.
And who is really in control?
Anybody would be in control of Roru's sleep if they could disenchant him. So anybody who knows how to disenchant in control.
Is this a place of power?
It most certainly is.
We could go for a ritual. Undoubtedly, Pahan has seen somebody affected by the Fae, and sort of, drag him out, and perhaps there's some sort of ritual with herbs that are locally found, and sort of trying to bring him back from his eternal sleep.
Okay.
The Fae did tell us to leave, so I don't know if we should stick around and cast a ritual then.
That is a good point. We could always just throw Roru on the back of the facts.
Well, maybe this is where we're trying to get to. This is a white tree. Maybe this is the Fae realm of the unicorn. What if
That is possible. This is definitely not the marketplace. However, this may be an entrance to the Fae Court. I am still not keen on stealing unicorn blood from the Fae Court, but yes, this may be that place.
what if we spoke to the tree and said, "Hey, we have something we need to talk to you about, but the guy who needs to talk to you is the guy to sleep. So can you please wake him up so that he can tell you what he needed to tell you?"
Yeah, that seems like an option. Or yeah, either Pahan or Yona, I think, could use magic to rouse him. When the pixie came out earlier, was that because Roru touched the bark, or was there something else that opened the door?
So player knowledge. It was because you were slamming bodies up against the tree. Like it's
Basically knocking on the door.
Yeah, it's the Fae's home. She's like, what is going on out here? So yeah, it wasn't like the magical property of him being a. So just to streamline, we've got the suggestion for ritual and then the suggestion to talk to the Fae about it. Which of those courses are we leaning towards?
I'm certainly okay with talking to the Fae and trying to get her to reverse it. That's probably easier than the ritual.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. I have an affinity with Fae creatures by nature, so I would default to seeking their aid.
Cool. Let's take our first break then. 5 minutes, or do you guys want a couple minutes longer?
5 is plenty.
Yeah, 5's fine for me.
So then let's come back at 48. Sorry I broke your boomerang.
It's a lot better than killing the character.
Yeah, it seemed like the only thing I could do within reason. I thought about him just leaping through the air and rolling last breath, but I'm like, it's a little harsh. Although you did have a string. Was it 4?
It was 4 failed rolls in a row. It was
You're
not
gonna level
good.
up again.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Awfully close.
I'm the most powerful yet closest to death every time.
Do you want me to just I have to spend chill to thaw you, so if you want to just leave that armor on for right on the turtle's back for a little while until it melts, fine with that.
That'll be interesting. I definitely want to seek some healing if we go into this Fae realm, even if it requires some weird deal. Bahan's definitely in a jam.
I mean, if it seems like we need to run or something, I can thaw you suddenly, I guess. Just give me the signal.
And both Bahan and Yona are in pretty rough shape.
Yeah.
And I forgot to deduct my armor. Does armor negate the gnome attacks?
Yeah, they weren't piercing. I just gave them D6 plus 1, so your
So
armor still worked.
I'll undo those 2 +1s because of my plus armor.
Cool. So, Yona, having a Fae friend or pet, what do you call the centipede? Is it a friend or pet or what?
No, it's like a symbiote. Like we're 2 parts of the same creature. We're like Jadzia Dax in DS9. You can't separate one from the other.
Cool. So having this be part of your essence, I'm sure you know like a proper Fae greeting. What would that look like as you're trying to get this Fae pixie to open the door?
Yeah, it's done. It's silent. It's done through a series of subtle hand gestures. So yeah, I just perform that. Similarly to like the way that I feel the millipede like feet on my body, I do that kind of touch on the tree.
Cool. So all of you can be part of this scene whenever you want to jump in. Just holler. The door will crack slightly, and I'm imagining like yay tall, just regularly shaped door. It's right over that symbol that for a bard or storyteller. It swings part of the way open, and the head pokes out of this same female pixie, and she says, "I thought I told you to go away. What are you doing here?"
We're exterminators. We just cleared your thereabouts of the red caps.
Oh, they hang out there all the time. They're just waiting for dumb adventurers. I mean, yes, dumb adventurers like you to come along, unsuspecting, staring at my tree, and then they attack.
Well, the smart adventurer that we brought with us is asleep, and we can't wake him up.
Oh, did I put asleep your talker? You want him to wake up?
Well,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I think maybe you want him to wake up, so you wouldn't have to talk to the dumb ones.
Clever. You're very clever. Well, dumb one, who a good point. I have no need for him to be awake. and you have no more need to be here on my island. Goodbye. The door closes. Not slams, just closes.
Well, I gave it a shot.
All I knew how to do was open the door.
Are we aiming for attending the Fae Court? Do we need to get there more than we need to get to the undead market? I ask because Pahan leveled up, and I'm gonna take a move called what is it? Secret Paths and Ways, which basically allows us to like not teleport, but like move in ways beyond nature. So we could possibly use that to get to the Fae Court, or possibly use that to get to the undead market very quickly.
Could we move inside of the tree? Is that what you're saying?
We could find another route, let's say.
That's interesting.
Is this character talk that's kind of going on, too? I think hearing you talk about the court, you hear her voice again, and she says, "Which court?"
We're on a mission to kill a hag, and we've been sent to find a unicorn who can help us with that.
I don't know any courts with hags. I know a court that used a unicorn to make its sacred place. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one. That's what I meant. Like I said, I'm just the dumb one. I'm not quite sure what I'm talking about.
The door swings full open, and she says, "That Asharanu is such a bitch. I just want to kill her." I mean, of course I can't, because she's the queen. But you want to take her unicorn away?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. I thought we said that at the beginning.
Don't be sassy with me. Listen, I do one thing here and one thing alone. You trade me a story of value, and I'll answer your question. What do you want to know about Asharanu? And who's got a good story? A really good one. And she sits cross-legged.
So I don't want to repeat myself, but the storyteller is unconscious right now. He has the really good story. The one who's asleep.
Then give me a story, and I'll wake him up, and then he can give the really good story.
Okay.
I think Bahan might have a good story.
You got a good story, go for it.
Is this a custom move, or is this just a story?
Go ahead and just
okay.
A story.
I think Pahan sort of starts to tell the story of how Pahan came upon Thax and traveled through perhaps a very young Pahan, found a puddle when Pahan was very little, and fell into the puddle, and instead of just getting water on the face, slipped into another world, into an ocean, a timeless and vast ocean, and above was the underside of this turtle, and below was this nest of eggs, and Pahan swam down and down and down and found that they did not need to breathe in this water, and collected an egg and very quickly wormed the way up to the surface and saw above the entire world rested upon the turtle.
Ooh, that is a good tale indeed. And the snoring ceases, and Roru kind of like jumps awake. What? What? Are they there? Did you kill them all? Are we dead?
Yes, you're dead.
Oh, oh. You know, it doesn't feel as bad. Hey, I'm not dead. He's standing.
Hmm. Oh, sorry, I misheard you.
Looking over to you, Wolf. He's like, What did I miss? I'll write it down. It was very exciting.
We'll get to that. But you're here to work, and it's time for you to do your job. This fake creature demands a story for us to enter the realm, and I think you should tell the one about how we burned down the inn.
Sure. You know, I've been working on a few rhymes for it. Do you mind if can I use the? Does she care for rhymes?
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you find some clever rhymes for in?
Like you'd know anything about the form of poetry.
Yeah, sorry. It would just be a sin if I made an attempt to rhyme words like you do.
You're a terrible person, by the way, yeah. So Roru will recount the story. We will have you make a roll for that, though. It'll be plus his quality for swaying hearts and minds. Wolf, why don't you make that roll? His quality is 1.
1, okay. That's a 9. And I don't know, maybe one of us could aid him. Oh,
I'd be good with aiding.
yeah.
Just a little, spicing up the tale from the point of view of Pahan, who had taken the form of the innkeeper's what was it, sister-in-law or something?
Mm-hmm.
I believe. Yeah.
Maybe providing some visual effects to go with the story.
Yeah, visual effects. There you go. So that's A plus charisma.
Sure.
That's a 9.
Cool. Yeah, she claps at the story. She's very pleased with it. And she says, "Okay, what is it that you want to know? Anything I can do to help get payback for my sister, I'd be happy to do."
How could we approach the unicorn without being seen?
You can approach the unicorn unnoticed only if your heart is completely pure. The unicorn is a being of purity, kindness, truth, honesty, blah, blah, blah. And it can sense any kind of disturbance, deception, lying, trickery, necromancy. Casts a look at Yon. And the unicorn will know you're there unless you can purify yourselves.
I may be beyond purification. So just throwing that out there.
I Oh, I know it's cheating. I know. I have my words. Okay, I'll tell you. You know the hag, the one who comes by? She comes by every once in a while here to Bertha. Anyway, she could make you pure.
And what exactly would that entail?
I'm not Bertha. I don't know. All I know is that she has the capability of making anybody pure.
Wolf says, okay, thanks for the information. Do you have anything else to trade?
One little favor. When you steal the unicorn, will you will you let Isharanu know that Biku Biku Lum sent you? Give her a wink too, from me.
Sure.
Door slowly closes.
All right, y'all, we're in. Told you having a minstrel would be a good idea.
I don't see how this could possibly go badly.
Well, the tree's not on fire, so we're already ahead of our last game.
And how exactly are we going to get purified? I, for one, know that I have no interest in getting purified by some hag in her spa.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like a hag who needed the pureness that comes with unicorn blood to cast some sort of rite would also be able to purify things. If she could, why couldn't she just take Red Hat blood and purify it and use that for her regent?
What is more pure than the wind? Perhaps I could approach it.
Nothing purer than the hunt. I've done nothing out of my nature. It's a creature like any other.
And you suppose Yona and I will just stand here outside the tree and wait for you to appear with unicorn and blood and everything will be fine?
Well, what's impure about Pathax and Bahan?
I have stolen a turtle, a world turtle. And my little magic trick earlier with White Raven, I mean, it might have fooled both of you, but it won't fool a unicorn.
What magic trick?
Oh, you really believe I disenchanted a necromancer's blade in a few moments? Come on now.
All right, I think Ulf is just not at all taking that seriously, that unicorns can sense any impurities. He's going to start looking around for any sign, like to see if he can pick up a trail of some sort of magical creature, hopefully it being the unicorn.
Okay. That sounds like a scout ahead move. So does that mean you guys are kind of turning away from the dead market or the undead market then?
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think Yona's a bit. She's still feeling a bit lost at the moment, so I think she's down to just kind of go where the rest of the. She has no real motivation to go to the market, so other than just financial or whatever business interests. So if that's what everybody else wants to do, then she's down.
So now, Ulf, you have a tool to help you track a unicorn. If you'd like to spend some time with that, we can have you roll and get some direction from it.
Are you talking about the move or some item I'm carrying?
Remember, Mother Bertha gave you that coin with the unicorn.
Oh, I'd completely forgotten. Well, yeah, I think that's exactly what I would do.
Cool. Just meta-wise, everybody cool with starting to hunt a unicorn instead of going to the undead market? I know Yona kind of said yeah.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I think it would be fun too if when Bahan reveals that Bahan tricked White Raven, the ice just sort of melts off of Bahan.
That was exactly what I was gonna say.
Nice, yeah. The armor is gone, the trust is gone.
Awesome. Well, Ulf, when you spend a few minutes with the medallion, roll plus your intelligence. On a 10 plus, it will point you directly towards the unicorn. On a 7 to 9, it'll give you a sense of the northeast southwest direction.
Rolled a 12.
Awesome. So you'll be able to hold on to that probably for, you know what? Why don't you just roll a d4? Let's see how many days this direction will last.
That's a 2.
Cool. So yeah, for the next 2 days, you'll have this unerring sense of direction towards the unicorn. I'll even let you get a sense of how long it'll take. You're at least 4 days walk from it, making a normal time. So, what do you guys want to do with that information that Wolf just got?
Those travel in the direction of the unicorn. Bahan's probably poking Yona and saying, "Have something in that pack that might help an old man cure his wounds."
Indeed, I might. Yeah, I should have poultices and herbs. Oh yes. I always forget how those work. That's an immediate heal, or is that we make camp one?
It's slow, but you guys.
Oh yes, yeah. So I do have poultices and herbs, so that'll heal 7 damage per use. So yeah, if anybody wants some healing, I start reaching in my bag and pulling out bits of herbs and mushrooms, mashing them with a mortar and pestle, occasionally spitting in it and mashing it up, and then offer it up to Bahan.
Yeah, I think Bahan just liberally slaps it all over the wound on the leg, and maybe gives a little bit to Pithax.
Well, and actually, yeah, now that I think about it, I should probably do that to myself, because I took a big chunk of damage. So yeah, I've got two uses left, so I'll give one to Bahan, and I'll take one for myself. So that heals 7 damage.
Wolf is also capable of healing wounds. Hadn't done it in a while, but maybe he sees yours and says, "That's not a normal wound. Magic caused that. Maybe magic needs to heal it."
Oh yeah, that's a good reminder. That herbs won't heal that damage.
Right. Of course. Yeah, so maybe I don't recognize that right away, and I go ahead and try to use it and realize that it's not really doing what I want it to.
So Ulf, do you want to use your cast a spell here?
Yeah. I guess I should try to trigger Cure Light Wounds. and I would see that the herbs and poultices failed and got a bit despondent, and maybe flash back to the time that I thought I was going to lose my horse, and realize that if we lose Yona, we'll be losing much more than just a dumb animal. We'll all become dumb animals, and so I try to channel my deity, the hunter, for healing instead. And I think if that triggers, it's 1d8.
Okay. Yeah, you still need to roll cast a spell for it, though.
That's whiz.
Mm-hmm.
So it's 5 plus 1 is a 6.
Cool. So yeah, then Steven or Yona has 3 damage left because you took 9 from the knife, right?
I started with 14, so so should have been at. Wait, I took 8 from the knife, so 6.
So then just kind of keep in the back of your head that 2 of that needs magical healing.
Wait, say again.
So like sleeping on it won't heal 2 of those hit points.
Oh, I got you. So sorry, did that spell heal me for
6?
any?
He healed you for 6.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I missed that.
You're...
Okay.
Now, Pahan, did you end up taking that fast travel ability, or are you guys hoofing it towards the forest?
I'll leave that up to the party. So on a meta level, the move allows us to move in ways that are not the natural world that fictionally Pahan sort of goes to the shell of the turtle, and when then we fall back up to a puddle somewhere else in the world. But I'm not exactly sure, because I think fictionally you have to know where you're going, and I don't think we know exactly where we're going. I'm kind of interested in seeing Ulf track down this unicorn. So it is an option maybe to get back to the ferry or get to the market.
Maybe,
yeah, go ahead.
Maybe, I mean, it could be a combination where he's tracking using that magical tool, but it's in the other world, so that it doesn't take as much time. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say if you wanted to use it to get near the unicorn, you know that it's 4 days, and he's got an unerring direction. So if he could, pull out his compass and show you on a map, do you think that's precise enough for you to use that move?
Yeah, I think so. I think that'd be interesting. All right, so we have to find a suitable puddle, one that's very clear, very placid, and then
can get you some fresh snow melt.
Yeah, there you go. I got an 8. So on an 8, 7 to 9, the GM chooses a difficulty. Others find the way who did not know it before. The party is separated. The way is long and hard. Each person who takes it must consume a ration. They encounter some danger upon the road. So we slip through this puddle, and we're sort of in this dark, very on this big green plateau, and above us are these several little openings above that represent the different puddles and the ways back out, and then we sort of navigate our way through that.
Did we make camp before this happened, or is this on the first day?
You guys can make camp before you go through the magic path if you want. Up to you guys.
I just want to, yeah. Whatever you guys want to do. If we want to heal up a little bit, or do we want to make haste to the unicorn?
I think Yona would not want to necessarily make camp, although I guess it would depend on what time of day it is. She would also probably not want to be traveling at night.
That's right. I'll be right back.
I think it's interesting if we don't make camp and press on.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
On the trail, you won't want to stop.
Okay. Let's do that then. So, of the options from the secret paths and ways, I am going to have somebody else find this path that you're traveling on. How do you know that the necromancer is figured out this little path that you go through?
So I think in a perfect world, if we were traveling on this road, it would just be the green plateau below us of the shell, and then up above us all the little spots. But I think periodically, like some bones will fall through one of the puddles and sort of arrange themselves and start crawling along the surface. And we're very carefully skirting to avoid those spaces, but Bahan knows that this is, as Bahan has traveled this before, knows that this is not how things are supposed to be. That's not supposed to happen.
Cool. All right. Let me pull up a sheet really quick. All right. So 4 days worth of travel happens, in what feels like a few hours. And you guys pop out of a puddle in the middle of a dark forest. It's the middle of the night here now. Let's say it literally took like 18 hours, so that'll put you like 1 day and a half ahead of where you guys are at. Or no, is my math wrong there? My math is very wrong. Let's say it took 30 hours there. The first thing that you guys notice is just the strong scent of wood and like the underbrush, the decaying. It's not like a gross decaying smell, but that decaying leaves, like the forest floor, and these massive trees. Has anybody been to the Kyrgyz forest before? I think Ulf, you said you had, right?
Yeah, the Great Forest is definitely his home. I don't know if the Kyrgyz forest in particular, but this definitely reminds him of where he was brought up.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So once you guys are here, you still have that kind of unerring direction towards the unicorn. You can tell which direction to move. Are you guys headed straight for it now, or what's the plan, Ulf?
I think I would want the ones who think they are impure to give me some space, and I would want to move out in front, or circle around. I think that's what I would do. I would maybe my plan would be for Pahan and Yona, because they said themselves that they thought they would be detected as impure by the unicorn, to approach maybe at half speed from the direction we came from, and I could circle around and approach from the opposite direction.
Cool. Let's take a real quick bio break. I don't want to get too far ahead and with Brian gone. Oh, and he's back. Do you guys want to do a quick bio break right now, or are we good to go?
I'm good.
Cool.
I'm good.
Brian, all you missed was they popped out of a puddle in the middle of the forest, and the necromancer found the secret path that you guys used to travel through. So.
Okay.
All right. So, would you be taking White Raven with you, or is she better to stay with the other two?
Oh, White Raven, do you consider yourself pure enough to approach the unicorn?
I don't think there's anyone more pure to a unicorn than someone who's, you know, embraced nature and can channel the winds and the waters the way I do.
Yeah, so totally.
Cool. This sounds like, since you guys already have that pure direction, this sounds like a couple of different scout rolls. So let's get one from the pair going around the side, and then one from the pair going straight on.
So are we flushing? So that's a wisdom roll, right, for scouting, or is that something else?
Yes. Yeah.
I was gonna say if we're actually approaching the unicorn right now, I was gonna go into my wind form. I thought that might be a more pleasing form for a unicorn.
Sure. Will you just read that rule for me real quick?
So I can transmit my own body into the elements that I have mastery over. So I'm basically just turning my body into wind. That's the idea.
Okay. Roll then.
All right, that's a 9. So it's 2 hold. So it's kind of like the druid shapeshifting, where you would tell me moves, and I can use the hold for those moves.
So I think one of the moves for a wind elemental would be probably move. What's the way of describing it? Like move, not move unimpeded, right? So you could just go to a place without like having to walk or anything. Probably like knock somebody back, like a gale force kind of wind. Any other moves that you're got your eye on particularly?
No, I think that's it. That sounds good.
Yeah, that's a good start, and we can expand on it if you think of anything in a moment. Cool. So, Ulf, you're traveling with the wind incarnate. How about that?
That's terrific. I tried to roll a scout. I think someone else might have rolled at the same time as I did. Did someone roll blue die or violet die?
Yeah, that was me. That was me rolling the wind thing.
I'm going to turn sort dice because that pulls them all out of order.
Yeah, the other thing you can do is if you just select, like if you select them and hit re-roll, then you don't have to have a ton of extras.
Yeah, I think I rolled at the same time, and I'm not sure which ones mine are. Are they the last two, the 2 and 2?
No, because it sorts them by low to high. So just re-roll because I'm not sure.
2d6 plus 1.
Oh,
well,
there you go.
Well, there you go.
Okay, so yeah, you'll be able to find the path to the unicorn without encountering any problems. How about our other pair?
I rolled a 4.
Okay. Will you roll me a d12, Yona?
1d12. 3.
You're kidding. So I'm gonna have you re-roll that. A 3 is the unicorn on the random encounter. But go ahead and re-roll that.
14.
14
Yeah, 1-4.
on a D12.
Wait, oh, sorry. I thought you said D20. My bad.
Oh, no. Sorry about that.
Sorry. There we go. Oops. Roll, damn it. 5.
All right. So, Ulf and White Raven, you guys make a wide circle around where you're sensing the unicorn to be. And as you get close enough that you think you'll be able to see it, like you feel that it's like maybe 30, 40 feet off, are you climbing a tree? Are you staying in the brush? What are you doing?
I'd be looking for some sort of vantage, but I don't know. I just want to kind of get eyes on it. I'm not looking for tactical security. I'm not really sure what I'm going to do when I see it. I haven't made up my mind yet.
Okay.
I'm still quite neutral, and that might be if I pull it off. Sure.
I think I'm just trying to, I imagine like can move pretty much completely silently as just kind of a gentle breeze and just kind of moving in the direction of it, trying to get sight of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you use the sense of sight, or is there another way as an elemental that you find your way around?
I think maybe I just I can feel objects, like the air currents moving around them, so I can. It's more of like a kind of like, I wouldn't see colors, but I would be able to kind of a object.
Wind sonar, maybe.
Wind sonar.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so the two of you, one is able to sense and one is able to see. Ulf, you're probably like up on a rock, so you've got a little bit of a advantage over the low shrubs. You see about 50 feet ahead of you a glowing white, majestic unicorn. It's got like a pearlescent horn with long mane. It looks like it's well kept, like it's a chauffeur, but obviously it's a wild creature. Upon seeing it, what do the two of you do?
I kind of like a whisper in Ulf's ear, just kind of say, "Such a majestic creature. Are you really going to bring harm to it?"
And I say, I don't know. I didn't really think we'd make it this far. And Ulf is, he's not like, he's slipping out of control of his faculties right now. Like, he's overwhelmed by the sight of this thing. And I think he maybe crosses his hands on his head, and this tattoo in his palm of his deity begins to glow. And he says, "Oh, I don't know. What should I do? If only there was some greater power who would set my path for me in an attempt to get some sort of guidance."
Yeah, I believe that's a cast a spell roll. Let's see how that's.
It's a rote in the cleric spell book.
I think. Let me see. I think you still cast the rotes, or do you not?
2d6. And this plays into his confusion. He's been going for a while now, trying to figure out. He's torn between the witch, unicorn.
I think you still cast the rotes, but you just always have them.
Yeah, you just can't forget them. I think you're right.
Oh, it's a 6.
Okay. I'm just looking at the text of it right now. Hmm. So you're facing towards the unicorn, and you call on the power of your deity, and you don't see anything. You glance over your shoulder, and behind you, the same way that you came, you see that symbol of your deity, the antlers away from the unicorn. Let's cut over to our other two friends. All right, so you're merrily riding Pithax and walking next to Pithax, I assume, Yon. And up ahead, you hear clinking and like chitter chatter, kind of high pitched and very cordial and sweet. And ahead of you in a clearing, you can see a little picnic happening with fey creatures. Why don't each of you, there's only two of them there, why don't each of you take a turn describing them, and you can do, you can make them whatever kind of fey creature you are interested in.
You mean Fey, like Fey spirit, or?
Yeah, so to me, Fey means like it's innately magical. It's kind of tricky. It sticks to its word, but the key quality is it's not human. So like, maybe it's a bunny that's a Fey creature and can speak. Maybe it's a centipede, pixie, whatever you guys want to describe them as.
Yeah, I'm picturing a two-headed snake, and each snake speaks a different language.
Cool.
So that you can, and maybe they kind of go back and forth, so you can kind of only understand one at a time, but they're both just constantly talking.
And I'm picturing a fawn who sort of has two horns that are very opal and very multicolored as they go up, and it's sitting there cross-legged, somehow managing that with the weird fawn legs, and drinking from a very large, drinking actually straight out of a giant teapot. It's just drinking the tea like that while it listens to the snake speak.
Awesome. Seeing this little picnic, what do you guys do?
Stay the heck away.
Yes, yeah, same.
I think that's probably. This is not the unicorn. Probably try to make our way past them without them noticing, hoping the snake will keep talking about something and distract the fawn.
Cool. Who's leading the way? Because this is, they were right in your straight line that you had. Now you're going to have to leave that straight line and hope you get back to it. So who's between the two of you? Who's guiding?
Feels like it's probably Pahan and Bethax.
I'm good with that. Is this a divide danger? Or
Yeah, defy danger with wisdom.
with wisdom? Okay.
And I think as you guys are walking by, one of you snaps a twig, and all the Fae look in your direction. And this is the first time the deer speaks, and he's like, "I think it's snakes." And the other one kind of hisses at him.
I rolled a 7.
Cool. So you feel like you've gotten back on the right track, but we'll see soon how certainly you are on the right track. So Ulf, you've seen the symbol of your deity behind you, the way you came. What are you doing?
I'm going to interpret that as if my deity does not want me to hunt this unicorn. And so instead, I think I'll try to approach it to speak with it or make friends with it. And to do that, I want to make sure that it knows that I'm not a threat and that I maintain my innocence. And so I want to leave my weapons on the rock and stand up and just walk towards it. And say, greetings.
Cool. What's White Raven doing? I assume you guys had a little bit of dialogue explaining what's going on. So
I think White Raven, seeing that Ulf has set his weapons aside, will just kind of join him. It probably looks like a little bit like of a little twister of wind, kind of kicking up a little bit of the path next to him as she approaches the unicorn as well.
cool. Yeah, as you guys start approaching, the unicorn turns calmly and faces towards you, and no mouth moving. You guys both hear a very gentle, melodic kind of voice. It says, "Ah, I'm grateful to see that you come unarmed. How can I bless you?"
White
Right.
White Raven says, I'm on a quest to rid these swamps of the necromancer and his dark, foul magic. Do you know of the one that calls himself the Master?
I do. That truly is a sacred and pure cause.
I would appreciate your blessing if you do see it as a just cause.
My power does not extend beyond these woods. The necromancer, he inhabits the swamp, a place that I cannot, and my power cannot go. What would you have me do?
Do you know where I can find him in the swamps?
This is something I can help you with. The horn glows for a moment or two, and on the ground, a small stone appears, and she says, "You may carry it, but you must lift it with your physical hands."
Okay, I'll release my wind form by dispelling the holds, and then kind of reincorporate and pick up the stone.
Cool. She turns and faces Ulf directly now. "What do you require of me, Hunter?"
Ulf says, I come here to ask what you would ask of me. I came here to hunt you. Sent by a hag. But I serve the god Vitar, god of balance, and he showed me that there is too much evil and not enough innocence in this forest. So it is you that I would ally with. What would you have me do to bring more innocence into the forest, specifically in regards to the hag who sent me here?
You're not the first who's come to draw my blood. It carries a heavy price, both in your gold and on your soul. You are wise to lay down your weapons. Bertha values it because with it, she can create wonders, but she misuses it, and I would have you never deal with her ever again. I will give you this. And another stone, same process. A stone appears on the ground. It will shield you from her should she encounter you again, but only if you swear this one promise. Do you swear to never kill? Do you swear to never kill unless necessary?
To protect. To protect the balance of the forest?
Yes, that is a good way to understand it.
Okay, yeah, this I can swear.
Okay. So as you pick up that stone and you say the words, "This I will swear," it actually like glows and kind of like absorbs into your hand. I'll give you a move concerning that at the end of the session, and also the mechanical bonus that goes with it. And she says, "You brought friends with you. I'll tell you where to find them if you need to."
Yeah, yes, please.
She'll point you in their direction. They were pretty much on course, but
I asked her. One of them carries the blade of a necromancer, I believe. What should I do with this?
you asking the question tells me that you already have the answer. The necromancer, he exists in the place between life and death, and he desires all things to exist in the place between life and death. But as the hunter has said, the balance of the forest requires death. She stamps on the ground in some of these dead leaves, and she's like, "These leaves, they help create the trees here. The reason that this forest is more abundant and more beautiful than any other is because of the cycle is complete. Should the necromancer's power come here and reside here, that blessing will be lost, and I will have to leave."
Okay, Raven, thanks her for her guidance.
She gives a very deep bow. Oh, Wolf, did you want to add anything?
Oh, Ulf just wants to do the same and also add, watch out for your doorman, Biko Biko Loom. She's no love for the queen or for you.
Biku Biku. She's a feisty one. She keeps her balance as well, though. You would be surprised for all her hatred. She does good. Cool. Let's have you guys all meet back up then. You guys can impart to them what happened with the unicorn. The two of you who didn't see the unicorn directly, do you guys want to try and have a meeting with it?
No, I'm terrified of it, to be honest.
Okay.
I know how powerful my little millipede is, so I'm pretty in awe of the potential power that a unicorn might have.
Cool.
I think Bahan is likewise a little trepidatious of, dealing with the Fae. This has been a little unpleasant so far, and to deal with yet another large Fae creature with great power, probably not wise.
White Raven tells Bahan that the unicorn warned me about that necromantic blade, and it would be wise to truly do away with it. And it would be very unwise to play any further deceptions while there is a unicorn about. It's very unfond of such things.
You would have me destroy my cabbage cutter? here in this wood with the... It was great amusement. I want you all to agree that it was great amusement. And then I guess Pahan is interested in disenchanting the necromancer's blade for good, for real.
Cool. Let's unless anybody else has a scene they want to do, I think that would be a good place to fade out on that ritual being performed and the blade being destroyed. Anybody else want to have another scene before we close though?
No, I mean I'm down to help. If some extra magical energy is required.
On that ritual, I'm actually interested a little bit in having Ulf be part of it and actually transforming the blade into something, no longer necromantic, but actually something useful to Pahan.
I still have some lizardman sucker hands and an owlbear cloak.
I think your owlbear cloak is quite distinguishing. I'm more interested in the lizardman sucker hands.
Okay. What specifically would Pahan want to make? Because I think between all of you, we probably would be able to find all the stuff we need. But what are you going for exactly?
What it's a lizard man hands? Maybe something that sort of provides some sort of bane against the lizard men. Something that when shown, sort of makes them run in fear. Something that causes that.
Cool. I like that. So, disenchant. Let's make it lizard bane, and we'll say we'll make it or unstable. So you make a roll on it, and on a 10+, we'll make that amphibious bane instead of just lizard bane. Does that sound cool?
I'm good with that.
And
is that a roll flat, or you want to do that with Wiz? Or
it'll be with your wisdom. I do want to put one or two more requirements. Deck.
If I could turn a reckless key, maybe I like the idea of the suckers on the lizard man hand, meaning that it can never be taken away or dropped, like it sticks to you, whether you want it to or not.
Cool.
Depending on how the roll goes.
Okay, so we've got the requirement of you'll have to disenchant this knife. You'll need the lizard suckers. I'm going to say it's going to cost you a bit of money since we're adding several different factors to it. Let's say like 70 gold. Do you guys even have that much after your...
Pahan does not have 70 gold.
I've still got 55, so I'll put in.
Which was in that chest that we took back to...
Yeah, we blew all that.
Yeah.
You blew all that. I went out drinking and then retired to go brood.
So, Yona, you would have taken 150 from the chest. If we want to say you drink heavily, 5-10 gold, knock it off there. And so, yeah, Yona's got...
Yes, I got you.
Cool. Yeah, and I think help from Yona, but that's kind of a given. So I guess just make sure between the three of you mark up 70 coins, and then by the next time we see Pahan, he'll have a lizard bane thing. Go ahead and roll plus your wisdom.
All right, here we go. Excellent. That's a 12.
Wait.
For once, a good roll this session.
So yeah, when you write it on your sheet, put like amphibious bane, and so that'll do extra damage against anything that both lives on land and water, and also cannot be dropped, however you want to phrase that. Cool. And so, yeah, our camera zooms out on the friends or huddled around a campfire with some maybe purple smoke in the air. Pahan's doing some kind of weird dance. The turtle is holding the knife up in the air. He's like on his hind legs or something weird. And yeah, we see that ritual come together as the movie ends.
Whatever color of the necromancer, I don't know if there's a thematic color, is sort of oozing out and into a mist and dispersing by the trees.
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, so that it starts, the green smoke starts, and then it turns purple, and then yeah. All right, let's do keys quickly in case any of you guys are going to be coming back to more Gaunt Marches sessions. Thank you guys so much for playing. I've had a great time. Let's start with Ulf. I'm sorry, let's do alignment and then we'll do your alignment.
Still starting with me. I did not defeat an enemy from range, so no alignment. Although I feel as though my alignment might have shifted from neutral to good. And I don't know what the hunter or the ranger looks like when they're good. But that felt like a shift for me.
Yeah, so the move I'm going to give you is some kind of variation of the paladin quest. So if you want to look like at the paladin alignments, that might give you an idea for what you would want to do.
Okay.
Pahan, what about you, your alignment?
Reveal a secret or magic from long ago. The knife was revealed last session, so I don't think we hit that one. That's okay.
Okay. What about the tree? Didn't you?
True. Yeah. That is the lizard. Snake people.
Yeah.
Snake people bait. All right. So we'll go on for
that. Yona.
So the drive that I created after my love letter roll was to use magic to force someone to acknowledge my superiority or power, which I don't think I did.
Okay. How about White Raven?
I think I hit the Winter's Emissary by beheading the gnome, the undead gnome.
Yep. Cool. How about let's just keep on you with your keys. Did you turn any, and did anybody help you?
Let's see. I was trying to convince Ulf to live more harmoniously with the wilds by talking him out of hurting the unicorn. And I think he communed just at the same time to ultimately come to that conclusion. But I guess I could say that one, and I'll throw a assist to Ulf.
Cool. So one for each of you there. Yona, how about your keys? You're muted.
There we go. I was going for Key of the Curious, trying to tinker with something best left alone with the white tree by doing everything in my power to open it up and find out what was going on in there.
I like
yeah, other than that, I can't really think of much.
Yeah, you had the chance for the Key of Inquisitor, but Pahan gave himself away, huh?
Yeah, that was yep. That was in the back of my mind, but yeah, he gave up the ghost on that one. So yeah, I guess just Key of the Curious.
Cool. How about Pahan?
I guess Key of the Trickster. I don't think I hit either one of those. In a way, Yona may have assisted with the key of the trickster, though, in that she did not divulge that that was false.
Yeah,
If you want to go with that. Yeah.
that makes sense to me. Yeah, because we established fictionally she definitely knew. How about Ulf?
I think key the awestruck I was trying to trigger when I saw the unicorn.
Mm-hmm.
Dropped my weapons and approached it. And key the cunning maybe. Had the plan to leave the self-described impure ones on one side and circle around and approach, and that worked out.
Cool.
And remind me your max for key turning. Is it total 3 or is it 1 hours in theirs, or how does it work again?
So you can get as many for helping other people as you help, and then just one of your keys that you.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say with the reckless, you kind of already did this with Awestruck, but when you control your instinctual recklessness in favor of a more sobering plan, you could have just shot that unicorn and gone and picked up a vial of its blood as it ran off. So
Sure.
if you wanted to buy the reckless off, I think you could make an argument there if you want.
Actually, I think as far as character development, if I choose to bring Ulf back, he will be a much soberer, more seasoned person. Yeah, I'll buy that off.
Cool. All right. Anything else you guys want to say before we do Roses and Thorns off camera?
What about the?
Let's do adventure. Sorry. Did we defeat a notable foe?
I mean,
The zombie magic.
Yeah, zombie red hat.
Yeah, the 10 red caps was pretty notable.
Yeah, it brought two of you within a couple of inches of death. I think that counts. Did we learn something interesting about the world?
Unicorns can talk and they can be reasoned with.
Yeah, she was very reasonable, wasn't she?
Mm-hmm.
And last, did we loot a valuable treasure?
I think the unicorn stones.
Yeah, absolutely. Cool. All right. Shut off the camera then. Bye, everybody.